Man, starting events taking a minute.
There it is.
And we are live, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Zach, I can't wait to screen share and show you the map of the United States. We need to put Kansas City on our map. So welcome to the show. Appreciate you joining us here for this coaches meeting tonight. Where we are here to answer questions you have. It'll be fairly personalized. The Thursday meeting had like over 22 signed up. Derek sent another email today. I don't know where we landed, but we did not have a large registration for this meeting tonight. Tough time for a lot of people this time of year with baseball, right? You got games and stuff. In fact, Coach and I, we just came from our game and had a great time in here in Idaho Falls, where the 13U Barn Bombers came away with the 7-3 win over the 14U Moonshots. Kind of a fun name. So, and actually here in our little town, by the way, there's a company. This dude makes prosthetic legs and stuff, and he also has a company called Moonshot Bats. I don't know that it's really ever taken off for him, but you could go Google it just for fun and see what he's up to. Okay. As far as housekeeping items go, the chat's wide open. Feel free to use it as much as you want. I'm seeing it come in live, and there won't be like a stream so long that I can't answer any questions you have there. So as those come up, as you have burning questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll try to get them answered as fast as you can. Folks, if you haven't yet, make sure to chat in where you're coming in from. It's good to hear from you. And by the way, your odds, Zach, right now, as the first person to chat in, and you're one of 3 people live right now. So you got a 33% chance if you stick around this call that you've got a $100 Amazon gift card coming your way. So without further ado, Derek, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us a little about your baseball background and your family.
Yeah, Derek Chrysler, grew up in Idaho Falls, Idaho, spent the last 25 years in Minnesota before returning to Idaho Falls. I also spent a good minute in the Midwest. My wife and I have 4 kids. Youngest is 13. We got actually 4 kids and a grandchild, so looking at a grandpa. But I've got close to 30 years of baseball experience, all phases coaching. I've coached over 600 travel ball games. Also been involved in program development, player development, tournament, ran a large association in Edina, Minnesota for close to 10 years. So a lot of baseball experience, academy instruction, you name it. I've been a part of it, and really excited to be a part of this with founder and chief park ranger Stu Draper. This is a very exciting venture for baseball across the country, but particularly here in the Rocky Mountains.
Yes, Derek, thank you so much. I am so lucky, you guys, to have Derek's baseball brain on this with me. He's been able to coach boys from little all the way up through college, and has his Game Changer. You should see the number of teams he's subscribed to right now, because he's got so many boys from that went different directions into college and to different high schools that were little that he's now following as well. And he wants to see how they're doing. It's fun to watch. You'll never meet someone who's more not just a student of baseball, but a student of coaching baseball. And really appreciate, he moved here from Minnesota, and it was like I struck gold when we got Derek on board. So, okay. I have in the chat. And I went to Parsons Sports Ranch in Texas. Beautiful new baseball park near Waco. I took my wife to see Magnolia Farms and to see Parsons Sports Ranch this last weekend. And we commented, there are no prouder statesmen than Texans. They are so proud of their state. And I said, but the Utahns are right there with them. They are proud to be Utah. They just don't have as cool of a flag as Texas. So for whatever that's worth. All right, getting more serious now. My name's Stuart Draper. I have a background in business that's pretty impressive. In baseball, hey, we were state champs in high school, so that's my big claim to fame from a baseball perspective. Frankly, I was pretty lucky to make that varsity team, be the leadoff hitter, and play left field. A lot of those kids went on to play college, and it's been fun to stay in touch with my team over the years. But that was the end of my baseball for myself. As my older son was growing up, I was really busy growing GetFoundFirst.com, which is a 2-time Inc. 5000 honoree company, meaning it's one of the fastest growing companies in America. And then I started another business called StuKent.com. And I was very fortunate that my sons had really great coaches. My older son got invited to go to our first far from home tournament was in Omaha, Nebraska, all the way from Idaho Falls. And cheering on Tate at that event was like a mind shifter for me on the power and value of travel baseball. Earlier in life, I was pretty judgy, honestly, and maybe you guys have experienced this where people are like, look, Johnny doesn't have to, you don't have to pay for Johnny to go 2 states away to get his butt kicked. He can do that locally. But man, I learned so much from that experience. Tate was learning a lot about life from getting to go and travel somewhere else with a coach and team. And the baseball, yeah, it got harder. But also the life experience of getting away from town and feeling like, hey, we can go and compete on another level and see different teams from different places. Really powerful stuff. So my older son ended up being my guinea pig. I got to a place in my business where I could step away a little bit more with Stu Kent as it went from 1 time on the Inc. 5000 list to now 8 times on the Inc. 5000 list. And so I have coached since T-ball, my 13-year-old son's baseball team. And that team has been to Omaha, Nebraska, where we won the Slump Buster. And they did that at 11 years old. And then at 13 years old, we went to Cooperstown. At 12 years old, we went to Cooperstown, had a blast. Got pretty humbled up in Cooperstown. Really good for my boys. But they got to see 72 miles per hour from a 6'2" kid, you know? And then next year, which would now be this year, we took them early to a perfect game tournament during the spring training. And guys, I had an aha moment in these experiences traveling to different ballparks across America. Families take advantage of opportunities to go do other fun things, right? Folks from Idaho Falls that we took to Cooperstown, they flew into Buffalo, New York, and they saw Niagara Falls. They went on to see some other historic parts of America in upstate New York, and then they traveled to Cooperstown. Or they went on to New York City after, and they saw a Yankees game, and they took Johnny to see the Statue of Liberty. And I realized something. Giving families an excuse to go make that trip because Johnny's playing ball is actually really powerful. Families are very excited when you give them the opportunity to stretch themselves and find a way to afford a fun event like Cooperstown. And now Cooperstown is supporting the 12-year-old group so well. We would never want to take away for that or try to compete with what they are and what they do. But for 13-year-olds, we want to compete with others that are in the game of providing experiences for 13U baseball. And so we have started building, I should say, the Cooperstown of the West. We're calling it National Parks Baseball Resort. It is in the shadow of the Tetons, and I'm excited to tell you more about that. Alicia, as far as how many teams are registered, we have passed the first 30 teams registered. Let me screen share here, and I'll show you the map of the U.S. and where they are located. It's pretty fun to see. So we have folks from all over Michigan, Ohio, 2 from Ohio, a bunch from Florida. We've got several from Texas, and watch out for those Texas teams. Holy cow, they take their baseball very serious. We got a Mafia team from Phoenix that is a travel baseball phenom. a lot of LA and California that have signed up. As you zoom in, you can see sometimes there's more in a city. We got some Vegas area teams, some Utah teams that are going to get to have a close to home fun experience where they can compete against teams from Florida. Got some Idaho teams, but not very many because we haven't focused on very much promotion locally. In fact, we haven't promoted very much at all yet. We got some Bozeman, Montana, some Washington State, some Minnesota in there. It's a mix. Really fun to see everyone start to catch the vision of what we're doing. So in total, like I said, that first 30, over the course of the next 4 months, we expect to get to where every week of the summer, we can host 20 teams a week in year one. The original goal was 40. We believe that 20 is a more reasonable amount. And one of the main reasons for that is the build out is very hard to do fast enough. Okay. So if, Zach, I mentioned that we don't have Kansas City on the map yet. We want to put you on, and for $100, fully refundable. If something doesn't work out, you can get your spot on the map. You can pick your logo and come be a part of whatever week works best for you guys. I wanted to show you here. Let me zoom. Something happened with my Zoom. Funny. Beckham and I went and played ball here and just had fun playing catch on the brand newly owned National Parks Baseball Resort Dirt in Felt, Idaho. So Felt, Idaho has a view of the Tetons that is just spectacular, and videos. It looks like during Webinar Jam or playing. Oh, there you go. So it's a fully unobstructed view. You are over the mountains to Jackson Hole. There's an airport there you can fly into. Jackson Hole, Wyoming is at the south gate of Grand Teton National Park. 40 to 45 minute drive from the park to that airport. You have an airport that's a little bit bigger, an hour away in Idaho Falls, Idaho. It's a 6-gate regional airport. And you've got 3 hours south in Salt Lake City, another experience to be had there at the Salt Lake Airport where you can fly in. Also, we're putting together fun different itineraries, a page of the website dedicated to, okay, if you want to make this a really cool national parks experience, then you fly into Vegas, and in Utah, you can go through national park after national park. They have a lot of them there. And then, so you can go see Zion's National Park and Bryce Canyon National Park, Arches National Monument. Come north, you got Craters of the Moon National Monument, Grand Teton National Park, Yellowstone National Park, or you could fly in from the north and go see Glacier National Park. So there's some fun options that way. This was just a fun, magical first-time experience moment for us, father and son. My wife and I have worked really hard over the years with our first 2 businesses. And with this third business, this is more about a fulfilling, meaningful thing than it is a money thing. It takes a lot of money to make this happen, and we want to build a business that cash flows positively so that if we're no longer needing to fund it, it can still pay for itself. But really excited to do something together with Lens that's more in the meaningful category than the hustle and grind and build something fast kind of space. This is a build a legacy thing for the long haul. Don't plan to build to sell. We plan to build to keep this thing. These are our neighbors, by the way. This isn't just a random picture of Buffalo at the mountains. This is the neighbors to the east. At the east entrance, when I drove up yesterday, I took this picture with the buffalo walking right by, saying hi. And it looks like I'm in an unsafe distance, but there's a big old electric fence that keeps them away from the 13U boys that are coming to say hi. There's the team that we coach. So, okay. With that information, I want to shift gears. I'll come back over, look for questions. Let's see. Marcus asks, right on, and this is needed for 13s, especially the ones that miss Cooperstown. Yes, a part of the goal here was to make sure that if you didn't get a chance, planning and preparing, let me stop sharing for a second. planning and preparing for an experience like this as a coach is really hard. You got to just manage all the signing up for all the different tournaments you're going to weekend after weekend to make the time to plan for a whole week-long experience. It's a year in advance of planning, at least. And by the way, I'm impressed that about 20% of our registrants are not for 2027. They're for 2028. And they've planned that far in advance because they know when their kid turns 13, they don't want to miss the once in a lifetime kind of experience. Which leads me to another question. Alicia asked about 14-year-olds. The team that just signed up from Vernal, Utah, they are 13 this year. They signed up for the 14U experience. Glad to have that. Maybe you, Alicia, I don't know, but we're glad to have you registered. And we want to include 14-year-olds. By the way, that's the only way that my son gets to experience it because he's 13U this year. So we threw in a couple of those. We may add one more year of 14U in 2028. But the goal in the long run is to be a 13U once in a lifetime experience. And we want to build fields that best match that experience. So for funsies, chat in what you think the right fence dimensions are for a 13-year-old baseball field. Cool, Alicia. That is you guys from Vernal. We have played a very good 13U team from Vernal, Utah. It was years ago when we were like 9U, but I could tell they were very, very well coached and a bunch of little athletes there. They're raising in Vernal. So let's see. Next question. Marcus came to see tonight what the plan is for the grounds. Okay. I'm going to get that pulled up on screen. While I do that, do you want to answer the next question there, Derek, that came in from Marcus about being bussed in? I'll pull up the drawings of the land.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for most of the most families, Marcus, they handle their own transportation. So some teams, for example, with Cooperstown, some of the families rented vans, from Florida up, Midwest up. I know we had in Minnesota when we went to Cooperstown. Most families handle their own transportation in and out of Cooperstown, going in different directions, and so that's what we would envision with this experience as well. Is that most teams will either individual families or as a team would plan their experience, whether that's flying into Jackson, taking in Yellowstone before coming over to the park, but most will either plan for team transportation or individual transportation as those families come in to enjoy the experience. Hopefully that answered your question.
All right. While I still hunt this down for a second because it's taking me a minute, Derek, did people chat in their recommendations on dimensions?
I don't see any yet. So punch in your desired recommendations for 13U fields. We've got it pretty well studied out, but we're just curious what you folks think. We had somebody last week during our webinar who put in 240 for 13U. Keep in mind the elevation felt is just over 6,000 feet. So ball's going to get a little bit more carry than sea level.
Yes, it will. Okay, let me get my screen share on here.
Oh, there you go. Marcus is right there, kind of in line with where we are. 290, 350, 290.
350 in center. Yeah. I mean, look, we played in a perfect game tournament, like I mentioned earlier, and 350 isn't keeping very many balls in for some of those elite perfect game teams. But for the average American 13-year-old team, 350 is keeping most balls in the park by far. And so we ask ourselves, like, what's the kind of experience we want to provide? Is it more dingers similar to what you experience in Cooperstown, or is it more traditional baseball? So I have here in front of you on screen, folks, the rendering of the dirt and with the overlay of how many ball fields we could possibly include across the 240 acres. And there's a bunch of different things that I'm not going to share yet publicly as it relates to what we can build where on the space. The plan as of right now in phase 1 is to build 6 ball fields with a spot for a championship field and a really cool spot for viewing the games. So the layout here is one that is under review with the engineers. We have to go through a stage right now with a geotech to make sure that there's nothing in the ground that the county will say, hey, we got to protect that. But the goal is to be breaking ground by later this summer. And in order to do that, there's so many steps. But once we go to work on the steps, flattening this lower section on this right-hand side, the east side of the park, that is where we will build first. That's where the entrance will be. It is coming from will be coming from the east off of Highway 32. And it does not take much to get off Highway 32 and be there on site. Once you're on site, this 7 ball field section will be set up for enough to host 40 teams without having to build anymore. So we could have up to 40 teams, get all the ball games done, and we don't have to break up the night sky with lights. Start at 9 a.m. Start at 8 a.m. and get the last game going at 6, or start at 9 and get the last game going at 7 to finish at 9. Those are our options. We're going to do turf ball fields. There are a lot of reasons why turf is the option for us. Water rights being one of them. Idaho is a state that's being very careful with its water. We don't have to use a lot of water on this land. And that's a benefit to everyone. Another thing that's nice about the turf is we can turn from game to game faster because we don't have to go roll the dirt and get it ready for the next game. We also have harsh, cold winters. This is a summer ballpark. This is a Memorial Day to Labor Day kind of a place. And we want to keep that window of time very sacred and get all those games done, similar to the way they do in Cooperstown. Cooperstown is upstate New York. They get dumped snow in the winter. They are a summer destination as well, and we will be the same. Okay, so that's in part the drawings of the fields, and I wanted to show you the drawings of the housing. This is set up as a large residence with space for all the boys to come and stay. And like I said, breaking ground on this later this summer. So I've already had some great conversations with the county in Teton Valley and going to be great neighbors for us. So let's see. What other questions have I? Alicia says more dingers. Yes. Zach agrees with that statement. So we're on the same page. We've been talking like 300 all the way around. We've had talks around a 280 with a center field at 320, and it'll be fun to kind of decide whether we do some fields even smaller or if we keep them all in a uniformity. We do plan, by the way, one thing that's fun about the park, we do plan to have the ability to do full high school games as well. So every individual Clover will have one field that we can host high school baseball tournaments on. That'll be the full high school field dimensions at like 320 down the line, 360 to center. So Zach says getting started is tough. Is there a weekend or two you are targeting that will for sure go? Just looking to get an idea of what weekends to target. What we will do as it relates to this fully refundable deposit is work as hard as we can this summer to know whether we can for sure deliver in 2027 and make that happen. So we want to be really upfront with you about that right here and now. We're not trying to hide something or to dupe people into committing to something that's not going to happen. It's a fully refundable deposit on purpose. First payment's not due till November. And the reason is it gives us time to ensure that we can deliver. So by September, October, you will know if we're delivering or not for 2027 for you and your week. We will give you the option. Should you pick a week, let's say that first July 4th week, that's like the inaugural week of the resort, and we don't deliver, but we know we're going to have an August 1st availability, we'll give you the option to push to there and the option to push to the next year or to just take the refund. Okay. So you got options. We hope if you haven't registered yet that you'll take us up on that. Give us your vote of confidence. You're another team that's bought in on the concept and wants to come be a part of it. We can't wait to put teams together. And Derek and I were talking about how we've learned how to use Game Changer. We know how to scout teams and decide their level of competition. And we're going to put teams together in pools with a good mix. So then we can, when it comes to bracket play, we can make sure that every team's getting opportunities to play teams at their level from different states. And it's going to be a great time in that regard. Like, we will make it fun for every team, whether you are nationally competitive or low A. We're going to find a way to get you and your boys a good time with competition they can compete with. So, yeah. So any other questions coming in? If you have any more for me, I would love to answer those. While you do that, Derek is going to help me pick a winner for our $100 prize for the day. Let's see, Derek, I need you to give me a number 1 through 26.
It's going to be 7.
Number 7. Okay. Number 7 is the 7th letter of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. G. Do we have a G? We got a last name that starts with G. Zach Ganser. You are the winner. Congratulations. We got $100 for you. You can put it toward, we'll email you and you can put it towards your registration, or you can take the $100 Amazon gift card. But we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I see another questions come in, and as you guys have more questions, want to stick around, we're happy to answer those. But we don't want to take any more time than the 30 minutes that was promised here. Yes, these are good questions. Okay. Alicia, we do have a contractor selected for the construction, Riverbend Builders. They are very famous and successful in the Teton Valley. Zach asks, dining hall amenities will all be ready to go as well. Yes, the dining hall amenities will be ready. The plan is we have a good solid budget for good food. What we did was 8 for breakfast, 12 for lunch, 15 for dinner per kid. So with that kind of a budget, we are able to feed everyone very well all week long. At Cooperstown Dreams Park, my experience, kind of a little bit like school lunch, and definitely lower budget than what we're budgeting for. So excited to deliver well on that. We feel like well-fed kids and coaches makes for a much better experience. And so that's as far as the dining hall. We'll have indoor and outdoor tent style eating. And so hope that answers the question, Zach, for dining hall. And Marcus asked, can you share more about any special things you plan to do for the resort? It's a good question. As far as other things we plan to do for it, we will have fun for the kids that aren't playing baseball. So one of the things that I have found is that it does not take much to thoroughly entertain siblings. The baseball sisters are little angels running around, and to have a racetrack for little kids with a auto setting start and finish line, and it shows your time on the screen and you can see how fast you ran your 40-yard dash. We're going to have that kind of thing. We will have places for the kids to You jump on the monkey bars, go down the swing, go play on the swings, go down the slide. And so it's going to be a fun place in that regard. Wiffle ball fields and things like that to keep kids excited and safely having fun while they're there at the park. So that's, phase 2, phase 3, what we've dreamt up for all that could be so much more. I'll share announcements and public information about what else we'll do down the road later on. But for now, in Cooperstown, by the way, you will love Cooperstown. Are you doing Dreams Park, Zach, or are you doing All-Star Village? It'll be fun to hear. The Cooperstown experience is one that I can't preach from the rooftops loud enough. You want to give it to your boys and your coaches. It's just such a special, unique week where boys get to experience the elite umpiring, better umpires. You have better ballparks. You have better competition. You have time to spend outside of the game time, going to the Hall of Fame, going and eating other good food outside the park when you go to the Hall of Fame. We were there during 4th of July, and we got to go to the lake. There's a beautiful lake in Cooperstown, and we saw the fireworks. Man, so many fun things. And by the way, another fun thing about Cooperstown that we hope to do is keep track of the boys. And when they grow up and they're playing Major League Baseball, we're going to talk about the pitcher on the mound that used to pitch at National Parks Baseball Resort. In the last Super Bowl, both quarterbacks played ball in Cooperstown. So we're not Cooperstown, but we are a Cooperstown experience. What they've provided out there, we're doing that. We're bringing that here. We're doing it for 13-year-olds. It's going to be so much fun. So, okay. Yes. Alicia asked a great question. Any ideas for fundraisers? Yes, we have a really good approach to fundraising. This was something that we did not get any help from when we did Cooperstown. And I think, yes, we do plan a trading pins experience. It's just kind of a no-brainer for the teams that come from Cooperstown. They'll already have all their other trading pins. So going to include that in the experience. You go to fundraisegenius.com/NPBR. And at that link, also within our website, you can find this information. But we have teamed up with Fundraise Genius. They have negotiated a special rate for us. Usually they charge 15% of all the funds raised for their payment processing and their business. They only charge 10% with us and the teams that we send their way. So if you go through us to sign up for Fundraise Genius, they do text message marketing, email marketing, and they provide a web page where you can do your own video marketing and tell businesses about the experience you're trying to provide to your boys. Highly recommend using them. There's a team out of Rexburg, Idaho that just finished raising over $30,000 in a town of only 20,000 people, and they did it quickly. Usually it's a month-long fundraiser. It includes a few text messages from the boys. It includes a few emails from the boys. And all the boys and families have to do is enter emails and names, emails, and cell phone numbers, and the rest of the work is done by Fundraise Genius. Most no-brainer way to pay for your experience. And I think if you already have other ways you're taking care of the rest of your season, if you just do the email and text message just for the National Parks Baseball Resort experience, you'll find that it's just taken care of. And that's kind of a no-brainer to me. So a price tag wasn't mentioned on this call. No one asked about it. It is on the website, $1,500 and per boy and $1,000 per coach. We do highly recommend 13 boys. We require 3 coaches. So you can choose to have only 12 or 11 boys. Very hard to compete in a week-long tournament with that few of arms. So for that reason, we highly recommend you pick up a couple other stud arms from your community, another team that's not going, and that will help your experience. As it relates to the coaches, 3 coaches is for good chaperone experience. necessary supervision. No kids left alone with one adult. So if you have 3 coaches, it's just a lot easier. And so that's a requirement for us for the event. So hopefully that is helpful. Highly recommend you go check out fundraisegenius.com/MPBR. If you haven't yet, we'll get you signed up, and we'll send more information about that. By the way, if any of your teams are going to be in Omaha, we are sponsoring Omaha Baseball Village. That's to the side of Charles Schwab Park, where they play the College World Series in June. And we'll have a tent set up there and have a bunch of fun giveaways. Going to go get the word out to all the folks that are playing ball in the Omaha Slump Buster. So yeah, if you haven't yet, go to the Pencil Me In page on the website and get yourself registered. Derek, what else am I missing? Should we close shop?
I think we're there. I'm just I'm adding my contact information in the chat. If you guys have any questions at all after the chat, things that you didn't think of, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll get back to you with any additional questions that you might have. But I think it was a great coaches meeting.
Yes, and folks, last but not least, please help us spread the word. If you have a tournament director, a league director that you think would like to help us spread the word, we would love to talk to them about sponsoring an email blast for them and things like that. Okay. Yes. Zach, come say hi in Omaha. That'll be so awesome. Pretty cool. You're getting to be in both Omaha and Cooperstown. That's a true baseball boy right there. I love hearing it. So, hey, thanks guys. Appreciate you joining. And we'll have a recording of this for those that weren't able to attend live. If you watch the recording, do reach out and do go get penciled in for National Parks Baseball Resort and come make history with us for our first year live action. Take care, guys.
Good luck to your teams.